Okay, today we'll discuss about three important Splunk commands called join, self-join, and map. These three commands are very much similar in nature because they work on multiple data sets. We'll also discuss about the similarities among them and also the differences among them. Okay, so before I move on, let me show you the data setup first. Okay, so as you remember from my previous video, we have a tmdb underscore index data, right, which basically have all the movie details. Then I'll do the initial data setup mb expand of genre IDs, and then rename genre IDs and genre ID, and then I'll table four columns. Okay, before that also I'll rename the ID as movie ID. Okay, so now after that I'll just take four fields called movie underscore ID, and then movie underscore ID, and then genre underscore ID, and then original language, and then original title. Okay, these four fields we will work with. Now first we will discuss about the join command. Before I do that, let me give you another data setup. If you remember from my previous video, I have created a command called getGener, right? So what it do, it basically calls a tmdb API, and it gives me all the different genre IDs and their corresponding names. Okay, we will try to join this data set with this data set. Okay, now the join result will be all of these columns, and the join condition will be based on the genre ID, and there will be another extra field will be added after the join with this name. Okay, so let me format the search. So yes, my rename is happening, then table. Okay, now let me show you the simple join syntax first. So the command is join. Okay, now you need to tell Splunk what type of join it is. Now the Splunk supports two different types of join. One is inner join, another is left or outer join. Okay, let me show you a diagram first. Okay, so in inner join what happens that you have two different data sets, right, A and B. Whatever is the matching values, matching means the column based on which you are joining these two different data sets, based on only those matching values will be written in the inner join. In left join or outer join, what will happen, it will return all the data from the left hand side. So that means the first data set, whichever is coming before the join command, and then corresponding whichever is matching, for that the value will be displayed, and whichever is not matching, for that the values, extra field values, will be null. Okay, so let me show you that one. So here my join, let's say first let us discuss the inner join. Okay, type will be inner. Okay, and my join condition or the field based on which I will be joining these two data set is genre ID. Okay, now after join, the second data set you have to give it in a square bracket in a sub search. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll copy this one, get genre equals to star. Okay, okay, before I do that, let me reduce the dataset size here. I'll just take the first 10. Okay, now I'll join get genre equals to star. Let's do this one first. Okay, now there is one important thing you need to remember over here. The genre ID from the first data set, the field name is genre underscore ID. If you see the get genre star output, the genre ID name is ID. So you have in Splunk join, both the field names has to match with their case as well. So that's why I'll rename this ID as genre ID. Okay, so that the field name and case will match. So if I run this query, so internally what it is doing, it is first running this get genre star by calling the TMDB API, getting all the different genres, right? And then for each and every genre ID from the first data set, it is matching with the get genre output. If you see here, for 99, it is taking documentary, right? For 28, it is taking action. For 28, it is taking action. So it is taking corresponding values, and it is basically adding a separate field over here with the genre names. Okay. Now let me show you the left join. Okay. So to do that, what I'll do here now, I'll restrict this get genre output to only where, okay, genre ID 99 and 28. That means if I run this command here, let me show you. So it will just give me only those two genre details. So rename, and if I run this one, okay. So now my second data set is restricted to only these two fields. Sorry, these two genre IDs. Now, first of all, let me show you the inner join. Okay. Then I will go to the outer join. If I run this one now, what will happen is now only the matching rows are 99 and 28 values. So if you'll see, the output is also be restricted to only two rows, because here inner join only returns the matching rows here. Now if I give outer over here, okay, what will happen? Now for outer join, it will return the rows from all the rows from this query, and wherever it is matching, it will give the values. Wherever it is not matching, it will be blank, if you see it here. Okay, so this is the outer join. Now Splunk also have another join called left, but left and outer has similar behavior, so you can use it interchangeably. So if I just give left instead of outer join, it will give me the same result set. Okay. Okay. So this is the one. Now join has two other inputs as well. Okay. One is equals to max equals to 0 or 1. What does this mean? Now if you see, after join we are running is sub search, right? Now Splunk has limitations on the sub search, like the maximum number of rows sub search can process. It depends on a limits.count file, and I think by default it is 10,000 rows. If you want to override that behavior of the sub search, that means whatever number of rows it is returning, based on that all the rows you want to perform as a join as well, in that case you have to give max equals to 0. In that case the sub search limit will be unlimited. Okay. Now there is another one called, if I see the Splunk documentation, okay, so there is another called override. Okay, so what override does is, if you see here, I am adding a new field over here, name, right? Suppose I have a field already called name over here. I will create that through eval. Name is equals to, let's say, test. Okay. Now I'll add this name to my table command as well. Okay. Now, if I say oh, by default override is true, that means if my sub search is also returning a field called name, it will override that existing field name. Okay. Now, if you see my type is left now, I'll run this one first to show you that for the two rows where I am returning, where the sub search is returning the name value, it will be overwritten. For rest of the rows, it will be still be test. See here, it is still states because for them the sub search did not return any value, but wherever it is returning value, it is overwritten. Now, if I gave override equals to false, what will happen? In that case, this will not be overwritten at all. It will still be test. Okay. It will still be test. See, now it is not overriding at all. Now what if you want to keep this name as well, and you want to keep the value returned from the sub search as well, the new field? What will do, you will rename it. I'll rename the name as, let's say, name 1. In that case, what will happen, I am not overriding my existing field, I am basically renaming that, so that when the sub search will pass the data to, or basically the join will happen, the new field, the name one will be getting created over there. It will not override here, and the behavior will be as it is in the same way. Okay. Now let's move on to map command. Okay. To do that, I will go to my previous one. I'll remove this name. Okay. Now, map command, what it does is, for a search before for a result set which is coming just before the map command, it runs a search provided inside the map command for each and every row. Okay, and then it appends the results over there. Okay. Now, one thing I said it wrong is it does not append basically. It just give you the map search output only. Let me show you. If I give the syntax is map, okay. Now, map can either take a save search name or take a search name. Okay. So in this example, I'll give the search only. Okay. Now my search will be, so what I am planning to do here, similar stuff. I will be getting the genre name for each and every genre id. So get genre star, then my genre id. Now this gives me the genre id and genre names, right? Genre id and genre names. Now here is a catch over here, as this search will run for each and every row as I said. So I can pass this genre id to this map command like this: search id equals to dollar dollar genre id from the outer search. So what will happen, it will, for each and every row, it will pass the corresponding genre id to here. So ultimately runtime my search will become like this, where my genre id equals to 99, right? Okay. So it will, so each and every row, it will then give the corresponding genre name. So if I run this one, let's see what is happening. Now map command is little bit slower inside in a way, and also if you see, this get genre is also calling an API runtime. So there will be some performance hit for this particular search. It may take some time. Okay, let it run. Okay, it ran. Now if you see here what happens. Now the original fields I had in my original search all gone. It just giving me the get genre outputs. So it is basically taking each and every genre id values from my outer search, and it is giving me only two rows, two columns over here, which is similar to my get genre output, right? Now what if I want my fill values from the outer search as well? So what I'll do here is, there is a way to do it. I'll do eval, as I can pass values from here to here inside map by this token values. So I'll be doing similar stuff here. Suppose I want to get the movie id. So I'll give eval movie underscore id is equals to dollar movie id. So if you see now what happens. So it will now, what it will happen, it will also add this movie id, corresponding movie ids as well, to my search result as well. So it is basically doing the similar kinds of functionality whatever we have discussed in join. But map command, if you see here now, movie id is also added to my search result. But map command will be a little bit slower in performance. So you better use join whenever it's possible compared to the map command. But if you have very limited result sets and you want to run a search for each and every row, you can do this through this map command. Okay, now let's move on. Let's discuss self join. Okay, to do that I have created a separate data set. I'll create a separate, open a separate search window. So what I have done here is, in my main index, okay, I created a data set like this. Okay, let me tell it. So we have employee id, and then manager id, and then name of the corresponding employees and their title. So I'll sort by employee id. Okay, so this is the structure basically I have created in the data. So there is a ceo, there are two vps, and there are two avps for each of the vps, and then avp1 has sm and manager, like this. Now those who are coming from sql background, right, oracle or microsoft sql server, they provide the self join command as well. What it does is basically, you start from any node, it can give you the whole structure of that node. Suppose I'm starting from ceo, it will give me this structure, this tree structure, as well as this tree structure. If I am starting from vp1, it will only give me this tree structure. Okay, now Splunk self join command is totally different in nature. Okay, because if for event kind of data, self join does not make much sense compared to the relational data we have. But still Splunk provides a self join command. Now the behavior of self join I'll show you first. Okay, now what it does is basically internally, when I write suppose self join equals to some join value. Now self join happens based on row by row. That means it will try to compare each and every row with the with the previous row. So suppose, let's keep this query somewhere. I'll keep this query here. Okay, output, so that we can compare what's going on over there. Now if I write self join by manager id, okay, so what it is giving me only one row. Let us see why it is giving me only one row. Okay, now as I said, self join occurs, it's basically for any kind of data set, For each and every row, it is trying to join with the next row. That means row number 1 will be the first join with row number 2, 2 with 3, 3 with 4, 4 with 5, 5 with 6, 6 with 7, like this. Okay. Now I am joining with the manager ID. Right. Now row number 1 and row number 2 manager ID does not match. It will not give you anything. Okay. Now for row number 2 and row number 3 manager ID matches, right? So it will give you the one, the recent one, where the underscore time is most recent one. In this case it is 3. That's why it is giving me this row 3 1. I am VP2. Okay. Now let's move on. Again, there is with 3 and 4 no match, nothing will be returned. 4 and 5 no match, 5 and 6 no match, 6 and 7 no match. That's why it is giving me only one row here. Okay. Now if I self join with title, let's see what happens. Now it is giving me 2, because if you see title wise, these two rows are matching and these two rows are matching. So that's why it is giving me these two rows most recent one and these two rows most recent one. That's why 3 and 5 employee ID is returned here. Okay. Now what if I want to keep the older value? Like I want, when it is matching, and to give the two values. Okay. So in this case also I think similar command called overwrite. Now overwrite equals to false. So what will happen here in this case is, now it's giving me separate rows, because for VP it is giving me number 2, because I am not overriding with 3 now. So it is giving me the older value. If you see here, for AVP also similar stuff is happening. It is giving me 4. Is giving me 4. Right. Now what if I want to keep those rows which are not matching as well? So there is another parameter to this command as well, called keep single. It will take either 1 or 0. If I give 1, what will happen is it will also keep those rows which do not have any matching pairs. If you see here, apart from these 4 rows, CEO, SM and M do not have any matching pairs. Those rows will also be listed here, CEO, M and SM, except apart from this AVP and VP. For them, still it is going by this overwrite false. That's why it is giving me 2 and 4. If I give overwrite true, which is the by default nature, in this case it will give me the 3 and 5. 3 for VP and 5 for AVP. Okay. So if you see here, this self join command in Splunk is totally different compared to whatever we know from the SQL background. But this can be very useful when you have, let's say, any process data, like you have logs, process logs, where a process started and then it changing its different states. In that case, to get the most recent state, you can use the self join, because in that case the process ID will be same, right? So if you give self join based on ID for each and every process, it will always give you the most recent state of the process. Okay. So this is the overall differences or similarities among these three commands in Splunk. Hope this is useful for you. See you in next video.